A quiet question is spreading through Iran, a question that challenges old ways: will women serve in the military? This question, once impossible to imagine, is now being talked about. It shows the growing hopes of Iranian women, their constant push for equality in a society that often denies them basic rights. The very idea of women in uniform, marching with men, is a powerful symbol of the change many want. But the road to equality is long and hard. Iran's history is full of the struggle for women's rights, a struggle with both wins and setbacks. The recent interest in women's military service isn't happening on its own. It's connected to everything else happening in Iran, a situation with government crackdowns and the strong spirit of Iranian women. The world is watching Iran with worry and hope. International reactions to Iran's policies toward women have been a mix of disapproval and cautious optimism. The world sees the bravery of Iranian women who challenge the way things are. Their voices are heard far beyond Iran, inspiring support and calls for change. While the future is uncertain, one thing is clear: Iranian women will not be silent. Their fight for equality, including the right to serve their country in the military, shows their strength. The world is waiting to see what happens next in Iran. For many years, Iranian women have been kept out of the military. Since it began, the Islamic Republic has enforced strict rules about men and women, limiting women's roles in public life. The military, seen as a place for men in power, has been mostly closed to women, with few exceptions in non-combat jobs. This exclusion, however, doesn't erase what Iranian women have done in times of war. During the Iran-Iraq War, women served as nurses, support staff, and even fought to defend their country. Their sacrifices challenged old ideas about men and women, showing their strong commitment to Iran. Even with their help during the war, after the war, traditional ideas about gender roles came back. The government emphasized women's roles as wives and mothers, pushing them further out of public life, including the military. This sparked resistance, as women kept fighting for their rights, demanding recognition for their sacrifices, and equal opportunities to serve their country. The recent interest in women's military service is part of this long struggle. Iranian women, inspired by their past contributions and the global movement for gender equality, are challenging the way things are. They demand a place in all parts of Iranian society, including the armed forces. The Iranian government's response to calls for women's rights, including the possibility of military service, has been to suppress these calls and control the story. The government, afraid of any challenge to its power, has cracked down on those who disagree, targeting women's rights activists and stopping public protests. The strict hijab laws show this repression clearly. Women like Roshanak Mollai, who challenge these laws, face harassment, jail, and even violence. Mollai's case, a sadly common one, shows the government's determination to control women and limit their freedom. Even with the constant threat of punishment, Iranian women continue to resist. They use social media to share their stories, organize protests, and demand that the government be held responsible. The spirit of defiance, passed down through generations, fuels their fight for equality. The possibility of women in the military is closely tied to this bigger fight for women's rights. Any real progress here would require a big change in the government's view of women's roles in society, a change that seems unlikely now. The world has seen the struggles of Iranian women. International human rights groups have shown how the Iranian government discriminates against women, condemning the crackdown on dissent and calling for the release of political prisoners. The world's response, however, has been hesitant. Economic sanctions and diplomatic pressure haven't done much. Some say stronger action is needed, while others prefer talking and working with Iran. The election of Donald Trump and his choice of Pete Hegseth as defense secretary have made things more complicated. Hegseth's controversial views on women in combat raise concerns about future U.S. policy on gender equality in the military and how it might affect Iranian women. Despite the difficulties and challenges, the world's attention on Iran's human rights record, especially its treatment of women, offers a small bit of hope. International pressure, along with the unwavering determination of Iranian women, could lead to real change. The world is watching and waiting, hoping that one day, Iranian women will have the same rights and opportunities as men, including the right to serve their country in the military, if they choose to.